All right. Hey, welcome to day 3 of the Unleash Triple D Self Challenge. Hope you guys are doing great out there. We have sent these recordings for day 1 and day 2 out already, not only to those who registered and could not make it today for the first 2 days, but for anybody else, we'll be putting it out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, so you can check out what we're doing here. I'm here with Roberta Campbell. Roberta, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited. Third day, self-challenge. 3
3 days. So,
3 days.
for the first 2 days, we talked about a couple other D's, and we're going to talk about a third D today. And no, this is not diners, drives, and dives. This is the Triple D Self Challenge. Guy Ferrari is not here right now. He's eating something. So, anyway, we're going to talk about develop today. But the first 2 days, we talked about the first day, we talked about desire, and we talked about getting a wanted desire, something that you really value, something that you want to do. It could be anything from weight loss to relationships to new careers to, hey, maybe you're trying to stop cussing. I don't know what you're doing, but a want that you want. The second day we talked about decision making, and that was interesting because we had a lot of good feedback on that, about making decisions, how it's not based on success or failure, it's just actually action. It's moving into a space of deciding, choosing. And today, yes, today, we're going to talk about develop. We're going to talk about the develop piece of this 3D challenge. Yes, Roberta, go.
Okay. I want to know, did anyone work on a vision board? Creating a vision board, or is this okay? I know Paige already has one, a few. But okay, so maybe this is something you can work on this weekend. We have a little extra day this weekend. So even if it's on Canva, or if you want to cut pictures out of a magazine, or just visualize that. So yeah.
Yeah, and you could even take that idea of the vision board as desire and decision to start to develop. It could be something that you do to make that third day of developing all the more. So don't look at it as a task. Look at it as a challenge. Look at it as a vision board visual, right? And
Right.
so as you start to do that, you start to think about the things you like and the things you love rather than things you have to do or take care of. So, because sometimes the things we take care of we don't like. Okay. So yeah. So today, yes, today, not tomorrow, not Sunday, not Labor Day, but today, we're going to talk about develop. Now, put in the chat when you hear the word develop. When you hear the word develop, what comes to your mind? Anything that comes to your mind, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Any adjectives to describe it, words. It could be good words. It could be sideways words. It could be long, short words. Put it in there. I want to see what you guys have to say about this. To build, to refine. All right, I like that. I like that. To build, to refine. What else we got? Bueller, anyone? Affirmations, affirmations. I like that. Affirmations grow. Okay. Build, refine, affirmations grow. When I think of develop, I think of process and narration. I think of uh, adaptability, audibling. Roberta, what do you think about when you think of develop?
Yeah, okay, I was just gonna type it in there, but like creating a roadmap, creating that, developing. So where am I going from here? Of course, one step in front of the other, but yeah, creating putting all of the pieces of the puzzle together. We're
Okay.
creating this, baking a cake, getting all the ingredients to put together, developing, putting all of your ideas together and just letting it keep going in free flow.
And even if you think about it this way, if you're building, if you're refining, you might have an idea already or a one already, and you haven't really decided to go after that one. So then you have to figure out in the developing stage, how do I develop this want and decision into a process? Not a complete resolution or a complete finishing product, but just starting. If I'm going to go on a trip, I have to figure out how I'm driving there. If I'm driving, if I'm flying,
Mhm.
if I'm taking a boat, I don't know, being a cruise, if I'm going to get to the cruise place, before I even get on the ship, before I even get to the beach, before I even get to the gas station on the way to the beach. So developing, refining it. So think about this. What is one desire, even if you can't see it yet or you can't see it built, that you would love to refine? Just think about it for a second. One thing you would like to refine. Is it a relationship? Is it mental resiliency? Is it winning the lottery? I'm kidding. Is it, you know, becoming less pleasing to people and more pleasing to yourself? What is it? What is it? And I'm not sure, Roberta, if you got anything to add there. I'd love to hear it. Develop.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so it's funny because over my last few years, my journey, things have changed a little bit. So I had to really get clear on my vision. And so, I want to live near the beach. I want to hear the ocean waves. I love it. And for a while, I thought I wanted to move to Florida. And then I visited Florida, what was that, last year? And I was like, oh man, this humidity. Let me rethink this. Okay. Is this really where I want to live? So I think sometimes, we think we might want one thing, but maybe we just need to just let it for a little bit. Let it sit and feel it out. And, because a lot of times we say, well, yeah, but, I really want to live in California. And, if you tell anybody that, they're like, oh, it's really expensive there. And they give you all this negative feedback. Well, it's not your dream, it's mine. So remember, just don't be influenced by others. It's your dream. It's your life. So spend that time and really just reflection. I like to spend every morning quiet. I used to get up, have to, hit the alarm off, jump up and get moving. And now I will even schedule a little extra time so that I can just have a little quiet time in the morning, settle myself, and then I know which direction I'm going. So I think that is part of it. And then just taking one step at a time.
So, how many of you get up in the morning and just be honest? And I used to do this. You get up in the morning and you just kind of go about your business. You just kind of go about your business. You kind of, get up, go about your business. Um, you don't really know what you're really going to do. I mean, you may have a job or you may have a responsibility, but there's not a lot of, okay. And I don't mean like the strict possessive thing. I mean, hey, I really like to do this today. Hey, I really have a regiment that I'm going to do this morning, and then I have my clients or my job. Most of us don't ever do that because if we did, then we would develop and we would guide ourselves in a maturation that would not include circumstances or bumps. It would just mean that there is a more solid, refining, rebuilding, affirming type of pathway. Pathway. Just keep going. I gotta check something. Somebody's refining my door. Sorry.
Okay. Of course, of course. So, but here's the thing too. So it's nice to have, okay, I'm going to do this today and that. I like a routine, but we have to be prepared for the unexpected, right, Maria? This morning, we have to be prepared. So for the little distractions in our lives, and maybe, just maybe, it was supposed to be that way. Why do we get aggravated when something does happen? We're like, yeah, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. That just, threw off my day. But maybe I look at all these things that come into my life now, and it might be like, no, Roberta, that means slow down, calm down, learn to be more, just to be a chameleon, just kind of just go with everything that comes my way, because you are going to have distractions, and how you handle that can determine the rest of your day too.
Yeah.
So I like to get up and journal every morning. I did not have a chance yet today, but it's okay. I'm going to do it in a little bit. Like, I'm not mad at myself because, oh, nope, you didn't do it, you know. So give yourself grace in
Yeah, I mean,
everything that you do.
it's even like this guy just knocked on my door. He was here to fix the air conditioner, not even in my office. And so I could have been like,
Mhm.
what? I said, hey, what's up? He said, hey, we're here to fix the air conditioner. He was real low. If I'd have gone, hey man, we're here, you go, I had to fix the air conditioner. He's like, fix the air conditioner. I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I just read. And he goes, I go, you know where the office is next door? So I could have been like all freaked out
Yeah.
and been out of shape, which I have been in the past, where
Mhm.
I'm like, you're interrupting me, and
Mhm.
how dare you, and
Mhm.
so developing yourself for
Mhm.
audibles and refinishings and things like that. But it takes time. You have to learn how to do that, and you normally cannot do that unless you have two things: somebody to help you do it and teach you how to do it, and a community that gives you that verification or that encouragement. Many people try to develop themselves by themselves, for themselves, in themselves, and it becomes of themselves and not about anything else. It's a me, not a we. And so you need a we, not just a me. You're developing
Mhm.
you from the thing. So just something to think about as we go through this hour of develop and really what the idea of develop is. So
Yeah, I think, oh, I know I used to be, I used to be living on the edge, anxiety. I had so much anxiety, of just, am I going to be here on time and do this and do that? And then I finally just had to that all go. I mean, Paige can tell you, I've had a huge change in all of that in my life. It's like, it's okay. That girl, she's the most grounded person I know.
yeah.
Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow.
So when you think of develop in a sense of what I said about community
Mhm.
and
Mm.
support and investing, um, that really scares people. They're like, well, I don't want to invest in myself. I don't want to change, or I don't want to have to take time to learn some validations that maybe are not true, or I'm a little apprehensive about making certain. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that, but actually deciding to develop, deciding to take your desire into a developing space can be kind of scary, but it's also responsibly necessary to do so. And that might require, money, it might require time, it might require new faces in your life. I'll share this. I'm in this new emotional intelligence group online, and I don't know any of the guys. And we're talking about healthy masculinity in men. We're talking about vulnerability. We're talking about holding tension in your emotions. And I'm a little scared when I got in there. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen in this group? It's going to, cuss me out. None of that happened. But I made a decision to develop myself. And what's happening is all the external things in my life, including my work and my family, things are changing for the better. So ask yourself that. What is it about developing that intimidates you? Getting on that guided path. Because there's always something for everybody. We all have something. We all have something. And as we continue to add these three pieces together, I want you, as we get closer to the end of the first hour, before we share some more tidbits about things, really ask yourself what it would mean to make monumental changes. You square changes. There's a book called called U Squared,
Mhm.
in a
Excellent
very
book.
short period of time without much stress. So, yeah, Roberto, you got anything?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think a lot of people too think that it's hard. It just sounds so hard. It sounds difficult. Um, so Maria says, my concern is consistency, follow through, discipline. And I'm going to tell you what. So my journey the last few years has been, I- I've been knocked down a few times still. There are some days that I'm not fully there. And those are the days you have to give yourself grace. And I think a lot of us were so used to just going and going and pushing and grinding. And so when things aren't going your way, you're like, you know, it can just get you a little frustrated. And so just to remember that really there's no hurry. There's no rush. And some days, what the mama said, there'll be days like that, days like this. Okay. There are just days and there are times that
I
you
think
just have to relax.
I think the other thing about developing is you have to realize that the path that you might think that you need to go down may not be the path that is relevant to your success happening. We all have these I'm going to develop this perfect path. Develop is not necessarily this perfection, it's a decision to have a guide. It's a decision to apply an extension. It's a desired extension. It's a decided extension. And when you see it that way, it can be scary because it can be more relaxed, not as scary because we put so much pressure. Ask yourself, how much pressure do you put on yourself to become somebody you're not? I know I do. And when I don't do that, I relax and I allow what's in front of me to become the developing catalyst. Everything kind of starts to shift, but it's kind of uncomfortable a little bit, not in a bad way, but in a way like, oh, that's kind of weird. I didn't react there. It's kind of weird. Wow, something. Well, that was a good success. It's kind of quiet out there right now. You guys are quiet. Are you guys thinking deeply? Or are you laughing at my bald head? What are you guys doing out there? I mean, it's okay if you are, but tell me a little bit if you feel like it. What's going through your mind, just adjectively or verbally or thinking? Okay, so thinking. Um, what else? Anything else?
Well, you're talking about like community too. And so I will tell you, I mean, there's a point to where you have to look at, they say what we are a product of the 5 closest people that we surround ourselves with. And so you have to take a look. Who are those people in my life? And the thing is, maybe I don't need to just totally shut them out of my life. Okay. But maybe I just don't spend as much time with the people that just don't make me feel good. And I'm not looking for them to lift me up, but as friendships or whatever that may be, and to have communication. Oh my gosh. My communication this year has totally changed. I have never been able to communicate with people like I can now, and to really speak my truth in a compassionate way. So, talking about community and the people that we surround ourselves by, um, and I do spend a little more time alone. I think I was afraid of spending that much time alone before because I felt lonely, and now I know that I don't feel lonely anymore. I don't have that. But as far as community, once I joined a coaching program, I was surrounded by all these like-minded people. And that I have the support of these new friendships that think the same way that I do, and we lift each other up. And that has been so beautiful. Joining groups, different groups like you, Ryan, getting out of your comfort zone and joining these groups where you don't know anybody, but you were pulled to that. So you're like, oh man, here I am, don't know anybody, don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, and I think ask yourself this: what keeps you from developing? What keeps you from developing? And I want you to sit with that feeling for a second. Let's just do a little exercise here. Sit with that feeling for a second. Take a deep breath, sit with that feeling. You don't have to close your eyes, you don't have to be like a meditation. Just sit with it for a second. And I want you to feel in your body where you feel it. But then just sit with it and imagine if you actually made that developing decision, even with that feeling in your body. And it's not about getting rid of that feeling, it's about developing a path that allows you to move through what you notice. Okay, that's all. You don't have to stay there. I won't.
I have something to say.
Yeah.
I feel like how we were talking about yesterday, like it's really, and I read it in the book I brought up yesterday too about Happier Than God. Even what's his name? Donald Walsh. What is his first name?
Neil Donald Walsh.
Neil Donald
Yeah.
Walsh. Even he says like he thinks the biggest problem like with humans is the fear of being judged by other people. And I think that goes into all 3 days that you've talked about, all 3 Ds. Like, I think that it's really like worried about what other people think about you. And just as someone who's had so many like mean comments and so many positive, like I just really can say like you just have to like be happy when you go home at the end of the day. Like it's really about like, am I like living out, am I developing, am I making a decision about my life or not? Why would I let someone else? I just feel like, sorry, the dog's like being loud, but I feel like even like the closest people in our lives, like my mom just said, you know, you could maybe let those people go or maybe not. But I hate to be the person to say it, but I think a lot of the time, like you do have to let people go because they like really do hold you back.
Yeah.
And that'll happen on its own.
Mhm.
It just comes with the time of it's developing. When you are developing, that will happen. You make the decision. You're not necessarily making a decision to let people go, but it's like during that develop stage, you will see people kind of go away. And I think, I'm not sure if Ryan said this or someone else said, or no, I think it was Adam. He wrote it in the comments. He said, and those people that you're trying to get them to like your idea, they weren't going to like whatever idea you made up. It wasn't about you having this idea about this developing thing. They were never gonna, you were never gonna satisfy them. They were never gonna be proud of you. Like, so that's all. I feel like that's what keeps people from moving. A lot of the time it's themselves, but a lot of the time it's like, you don't want to disappoint people around you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you have to be strong enough in your conviction, strong enough inside to be able to not hear all the noise. We hear it, but to not react to that. And so that you and I both, we really took the time and worked on ourselves to heal and to care enough about ourselves that we're not going to let these things affect us and people affect us. And so that is a journey for sure. I'm sure we have some days that are better than others, but again, you love yourself enough that you give yourself grace. I mean, it took me 50 years to get to this place. And to actually say, I like me, like I didn't before at all.
That's good. And it's humbling to admit that. So part of developing is admitting, it's accepting, it's, and I think about, hypothetically being in a space of acceptance. You don't fit the bill for everybody around you. You don't become an anomaly to profit sharing for people that want to manipulate. You don't even live the old life. You start to manifest a new way just by doing that. You don't even, that could be your desire by itself. I want to learn how to accept myself so I can increase my wealth or better my community or develop healthier relationships or be a better leader in my field of choice or find my significant other or better my relationship. All that stuff is developing. The problem is, like Paige said, is that we become immune to society or immune to stagnation. And that goes back to ignorance, which is another area. We could talk about this all day long, and heck, we might start a membership with this group and add in people and talk about different topics every week where we talk about how to unleash yourself. That's an idea. So, but I could tell, right? You guys were all involved in yourself, your internal. I can see Maria really looking at herself without any voices, and that's encouraging. That's encouraging. Developing. I want to do. I don't know, Roberta, if you have an idea, but I want to ask you guys: if you took the word develop and you put it down, wrote it down on a piece of paper, could you pick a word for each letter that would determine maybe a change in growth or refining? Take a minute to do that. Like I'm going to do it too. Like develop, the word develop. One word for D, one word for E, one word for V. Something that makes you think about growing and changing and securing a different vibe. And once we do that, we can kind of share either in the chat or we can share, if you want to talk openly, it doesn't matter. And I could start off since I courageously asked you guys to invite yourself into my exercise and develop yourself. I'll start off. So I had D. For D, I had dynamic. For E, I had electric. For V, I had voice. Sometimes my voice wasn't allowed to be heard.
Same.
If you believe that or not. E is for energy. L is love. O is opportunity. And P is poise. So that's what I came up with. Anybody else? You don't have to share. It's not required. I don't charge for it, but if you want to, you can. If you don't want to put it in the chat, you can put it in the chat, or just talk about a couple of the things that you wrote down. Either way is
Those
fine.
those were good. I love that. I love your words. Okay, so I'll go. Driven, envision, evolve, love, open, purpose.
Like it. I like it. And it's funny, all of us have different things. It's
I
great.
know.
Great. It's great. Anybody else? You don't have to share. It's not required. You can put it in the chat. Yeah, go ahead, Maria.
I put D. D was desire because I believe they come from a higher place. So I want to honor the desires. And then embody, which I think that's the disconnect for me. I have the wisdom and the knowledge, but I'm not embodying it. So I think there's a gap there. And then voice, my voice matters. And then the energy and how I want to communicate and pay attention. The energy is my GPS of where I need to navigate. And love is just love. Love wins.
Mm-hmm.
And openness, the same as
Mhm.
Roberta. I try to stay open and curious.
Mhm.
And protective. I'm more protective of what matters to me now. I can't put that in anyone else's hands, and I can't put your thoughts ahead of my own. It's just
Love it. I love it. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. Wonderful. You just developed your courage. I love it. I love it. I love it. Anybody else?
I'll go.
All right.
I had some of the same words as you guys.
Yep.
For D, I had daring.
Ooh, I like that one.
Thank you.
Sure.
E, I have evolution because like I really feel like I'm a different person. V for versatile. E for excited. L for love. O for openness. And then P for patience.
Patient Page.
Patient page.
Page. I love that. All right.
My guru name.
It's all one of your hits right there. Patient Page. All right. Awesome. Used to be enraged. Now I'm Patient Page. I love that. All right. There we go. All right.
He already wrote me a bar.
All right. Let's do it. All right. Adam, you don't have to share. If you don't want to. You can if you want. But no pressure.
I got a lot of the same as a couple other people came up with, but I went with drive, energy, voice, embodying ideas, because I personally have a bad habit of having ideas and them not getting out of here. Lead and openness, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm putting in for the P, but like leading, I noticed with leading, like it was really easy in my old job because, you know, everybody was looking at me anyway. And now it's like, it's really easy to just try to follow along and not rock the boat, but sometimes you're in the wrong boat. And I don't know.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. So what we did there is we all developed ourselves. We all put ourselves out there, and we shared some personal decisions, personal desires. That's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about extending that even further, like even taking that to, I guess LeBron James. I'm gonna take my talents to Miami, like he did, and he won 3 championships. Like it's taking it and wanting to win a championship for yourself. And so, Roberta, you were going to say something. Sorry.
No, I just love it that you guys put voice, because that's been a huge, huge thing for me this year, is that I was like, growing up, we probably experienced a lot of the same, but we didn't have, our voice didn't matter. Sometimes we just had to we were shushed. We had to be quiet, And so now, I think that's why I've been so timid most of my life too. And so I'm like, my voice does matter. My opinion does matter. And it just feels so good. And I love your shirt, Adam. I saw that.
Gotta
Yeah.
spread
it's
some
really-
positivity around.
I love it. That's so perfect. But yeah, voice that so everybody, yes, yes. It matters, what we have to say. So I don't know.
That's great. You do know. You said it. Your voice.
Huge.
So let's try this. So pick one of those. Just pick one that you would declare your general, your leader out of those letters. Could be voice, like Berta said. It could be love.
Yeah.
And I'll start. Mine's love, because I think that for years I didn't love me, and I was taught that loving myself meant burning myself out. It meant self, grind it out, be better than everybody else. And then I started hating myself, hating who I was, so that I couldn't love other people. I couldn't love me. So how can you love other people if you can't love yourself? And so that's mine. As a little uncomfortable to say that, but I'm saying it because a little shy about that. But yeah, that's what I did. I don't know if anybody else wants to share. I'm just, again, this is just an idea, and it's not pressure. It's just something maybe that came to your heart. If not, no big deal.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. And that also just takes a lot to share that too. So thank you. But mine is definitely voice. I mean, that wasn't on my list, but I'm choosing it.
Stealing. I love it.
Feeling it.
Stealing.
Yeah. And thank you for this too. You were the one that were like, all right. So I interviewed Ryan on a podcast, and then we were just it was so much fun that we decided we needed to do some more. We needed to do some more things. And I love that you're so authentic. And yeah, that's very important. Mhm.
So yeah, so think about your developing nature right now, and not in a way that's like weak or not important, but wanting to walk through the next door, wanting to walk through the next, path, wanting to walk down the new road, just to walk down it, not to go to the end of it, not to cash in, not to deposit, whatever. Think about that for a minute and ask yourself what that's going to take. Because that is the idea of this 3-day challenge, is to get you to think, what do I need to bring into my life, whether it's community or it's support or it's new thinking and community support, that's going to elevate me, not to a comfortability, but to a place of, wow, here we go, I'm going to break through these barriers. I'm going to find that career, or I'm going to find that space of voice, that embodiment, that next song, that next book, that next speak, whatever. What is it going to take? And that's where we start to kind of get a little bit queasy. We start to go, oh, sorry about that. Especially guys, we like to avoid, and we call it fawning. We fawn, we kind of bow our heads, or or we freeze, or we fight, or we flight. Just ask yourself that as we finish this first hour here. We're almost down to the last few minutes of the first hour before we get into some really, really deep stuff. But what's it going to take? I mean, ask yourself that. Maybe write down some thoughts. Maybe what you're afraid of, what you feel. What would it look like if you made it to that developing stage and you started to do it? And what are you willing to self-challenge yourself with to make that a reality? And I know that's heavy, but the only way to gain access into a lighter phase is to be heavy first. Mentally. I wasn't talking about physical weight, although that can have something to do with it as well. So, Roberta,
Yeah.
any
Yeah, I do. So my first thought when you say that, I think I have to have courage and I have to have confidence. Okay. So when I say these words, then I'm like, but wait, so how do I get to that? How do I find the courage and how do I find the confidence? Okay. Well, it's by, I know, stepping into a new identity. It's like, if I want to, if I want to win a Grammy, who do I need to be? The person that I need to be needs to get out there, which I will have courage and I will have confidence when I decide that when I see those goals and I see the things that I want to do, it is true. What kind of person? I have to express myself. I have to be authentic. I have to talk to people. I have to use my voice. And so that's what I see. And that's one of the things that I can see myself and how I've transitioned and I've completely like transformed as a person but it's all of those little pieces that have come together. And I could see why in the past I haven't been successful and I kept jumping from one thing to another. Maria said embody, embodiment. And that's what it is. It's embodying that person. Like, if I want these things, who do I need to be? Yes, I've got to learn to love myself and I got to learn to have confidence. All of that starts with self-love and accepting yourself for who you are. And then all of it comes, and it's a journey. And I will, I'm in a really good place right now, but I'm going to keep evolving and keep growing every day. And it's funny because when I first started this, it was like, when I first joined my first program, Bob Proctor, I was like, I just need more money. I was like, I just need to make more money. And then I get in there and I'm like, oh, okay. No, there's more to it than that.
Yeah, which, money could be the symptom of the result, and you make more money, but you're
Yeah.
right. The process of establishing yourself in an alignment with being able to have a passion, deciding on that passion, and developing that passion. And so again, remember, as we finish this first hour, it doesn't matter what that is, but the truth be told, if you want to find it, something you're doing now must be different.
Mm-hmm.
And that difference must not just be engaged by sitting in a closet by yourself, twiddling your thumb, not having access to people.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, Ryan, it's like making a different choice today, doing something different. Like, you've got to start doing that and start simple. It could be just choosing something, like we said, different to eat, taking a new route to work today, doing something different. That's how learning to do things differently. You build your confidence.
What if you get so used to doing things differently that you don't know how to do them effectively? Or is that a question for a different conversation?
What did you say? Say that again.
Oh, that might have been a one-timer. Hang on. I got a brain that looks like a squirrel crossing the interstate at rush hour, so like sometimes I only get one shot at something.
He said, what if you make too many new patterns and decisions, like I'm eating different, I'm taking a different way, like all these things that you don't do it efficiently.
So I'll answer that
Like,
very clearly.
Mhm.
So that is where community comes in and support comes in, number one, where you're investing in someone to assist you in that process. But the other side of that is learning how to emulate. It's not about what you're doing, it's about how you're doing it. And so then as you go, you can give yourself ease and grace through that process. So you can, because what people do is this: if they don't do something well, they stop. They just stop. They don't do anything. I used to do this all the time. And I was ambitious, I was active. Oh, I can't do that. Forget it. Screw it. I'm not good at it. I can't do this. I can't do that. And so when you start to do things like that, like you're saying, a lot of that is just worry. So you have to learn how to control that worry, to manage it differently, and to understand that worry is nothing but overthinking, which is not really thinking. So there's a lot there, what you're saying. There's a lot
Oh,
there.
the worry thing. I addressed the worry thing a long time ago because I was a straight up worry wart, feedback loop, anxiety attack kind of person. And I realized at one point that like most of what you think isn't going to happen. Like you get all that going up here and 95% of that ain't even going to happen. You just created it.
But however, unless you reprogram the entirety of that process, I'm going to just go there with you because I know you. It's still hanging out.
Mhm.
It's just not as strong. So when you start doing a lot of things, you go, "I'm not doing them well enough." That's the worry. Or you're doing too many things and you need to minimize what you're doing.
I think we talked about that a while back too. Is like I've always grew up with this idea that you were supposed to go from an idea to a finished product, and that's just not how the process works.
That's what Paige was saying when she repeated your question was. So, I mean, we're going to talk more in the next hour. Sorry, the news. I was not bringing the news up.
So is that like, so that's like fear of failure, right?
Can be, depends again on the person, I guess. I mean,
Right.
Could be a fear.
So
Could be a fear of success too.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's okay. So I did it once, and then again, it's like, well, let me try it again. Try it again. Keep doing it again. I can feel my presence when when I go somewhere and I'm not really like there as I should be. I can feel it in my confidence, in the way that I move, everything.
It's also recognizing that you don't have to have all the answers, and this is deeper coaching stuff. This is deeper
Yeah.
coaching.
I'm liking where it's going, so I'll
So,
shut up and keep
so
listening.
no, you're not shut up. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Thanks for repeating that. So I think it's 1 o'clock. I think we should take a minute to like unleash our breath. You know, maybe step away, get some water. If you need to use the latrine or whatever they call it over in Europe. I'm going to Europe next week. I'm going to be on the tube from the airport. I've never heard of that before. The tube. So
The Baudet, is that what they call it?
no, they call it the tube. Going to the train. The train from the. I'm like, so I thought maybe we just they call it tube. I don't, and that should be interesting. But anyway, so so I mean that's a great finish to our third hour, and we thought we would take a break and then come back maybe in 5 to 8 minutes, and then we can continue maybe exploring some other ideas of what we're doing, and we have some goodies for you guys, and so that sound good?
Good
Sound
stuff.
good.
Awesome.
See you in 5.
yes, thank you. See ya.
5.
Thanks for helping work through that, Paige. Sometimes it only comes out once from up here.
Yeah, I'm glad I was listening for once.
You are all awesome. I appreciate every single one of you.
You
Oh.
too.
Yes.
All right, see you guys in 5.
Okay.
There's everybody.
We're back.
Long 5 minutes.
I know.
It felt like it, right?
Was it 5 to 8?
Who knows? 5 to 8.5. 5 to 8 2/4. So no.
Yeah, it's that whole New York minute versus the rest of the world thing.
Yeah, how much could we get done in 5 minutes? A lot.
But,
Mm.
Depends on the job and the drive. You can get nothing done in 5 minutes, or you can save a life or the world in 5 minutes. It just depends on what you're applying yourself to.
walk around the house in 5 minutes, like Paige is. Walk around the house. She's walking around the house. She's walking around.
She's daring.
She's doing
What is it today?
She's
100?
exercising.
105 out?
Like that.
No, not really. Let me see. It's hot out.
It's hot, but it's not that hot.
It's 75 here.
You guys,
75. What does that mean?
Right? It's a treat.
What is
It's-
75 degrees?
I wasn't kidding. It says it feels like 105.
Wow.
Wow, you've actually got Florida beat right now.
Right? I
We're
know.
we're
Tires,
we're,
you're
ni-
burning
we're
tires.
90 we're 90 with a feels like of 102 right now.
You're burning tires in Akron.
And where are you, Roberta?
Cincinnati.
Oh,
Yeah. Ohio. Wow.
yeah. 75.
Wow, 75 New Jersey. Well, that's amazing.
That's real nice.
September's coming.
Yes. That's perfect.
Mhm.
It got down to 73 last night here. Woo.
Yeah.
Humidity
Oh my-
1,000%.
Oh yeah. That's like the dew point right now is like 75 and the humidity is like 69%.
I got to see what our humidity is. So, Brian, do we have a guest speaker today?
As far as I know, I think we do. She's waiting for us outside on the porch.
She is.
Would you like to introduce her?
I would love to introduce her.
Go ahead.
So, yes, today we have a very, very special guest. And I know her very well. My daughter, Paige Canelti. Yes, I want to say a few things. And this girl has been through a lot. Now I know we all have, but I know that I didn't even realize, I think too, like going through a divorce, how much it affected my children too. And it was very difficult. We went through some times, and she always she was lifting me up half the time, you know? She laughs. She's like, yeah.
That's fine.
So just, I think it just made you strong. Maybe that was just all preparing you for what, right? Do we ever think about that? You know, we don't bless
Mhm.
the things, the bad things in our lives at that time, but maybe it was preparing you for what lies ahead. And there's a lot more that she's been through that we probably don't want to speak about. But in 2018, I was actually in California teaching hair extension classes, and she was here in Cincinnati in college, 22 years old, working, grinding, going to school, doing all the thing. And she was at work and left work and was crossing the street in a crosswalk and was hit by a car and suffered a traumatic brain injury, other invisible injuries to her left foot, nerve damage, neck and back issues, you name it. I got the call. It seemed like the longest day of my life to get back here to be with her. And, we just don't know sometimes. And it was a struggle for a long time. And the crazy thing was that she really did, she didn't have broken bones. She didn't have scrapes and bruises, a few, yes. But, that was a time for us, and it really, we didn't know, just brought us together at the time too. But she struggled for a year or two, really trying to, recover from this. And we tried everything, and I took it upon myself to start looking for things to help her. And this girl has the strongest faith of anyone I've ever seen. And I'm just so proud of her. And I'm just going to let you go ahead and tell everyone where you were, it'll be 6 years on September the 9th.
I know, it's coming up.
It is.
I love my anniversary date because it's my rebirth date. Completely different person. It's kind of crazy to look back on my life and wonder, did the divorce, did these things, were they preparation for the future? Because, as I'm learning through this book and I'm learning through my mom and things, we manifest our futures every day. So there's always been this huge underlying question for me, because I go from, spirituality to God, and they intertwine in my life. And I always just wonder, like, are things a predestiny? Like, I don't know. It's a huge question for me. I wasn't planning on starting this off with a question, but that's just my little beginning speech, because that's something I've kind of always wondered, why even at a young age I knew I was special. I knew I wanted to be the biggest artist in the world. I knew I wanted to bring Black and white people together. I knew I wanted to bring the world together. It's just something I knew from just literally 5 years old or younger. And just going through my parents' divorce and seeing their pain and seeing my brother's pain, and then watching my mom as a single mom, we didn't have anywhere to live. Like, we were just living on my friends' couches who no longer speak to me. And then living in just very rundown apartments. I had bullet holes in my room. And just like kind of going through some crazy shit for a while, but always just being so happy and so blessed. I was able to have a little bit of new clothes, and I was able to go to sports, and I was able to learn my academics and have friends over and things like that. And just watching my mom build throughout my whole life, I think, was also a staple for me, because my dad worked a 9-to-5 job, but my mom was always a hustler. My mom's always done, since the very beginning, she did a lot of working for Regis and things like that. But then she went to a booth rental service. So I've watched her grind for her money, and just watch her passion grow for helping other people's and hair extensions and things like that. Watching her do those shows and things. And then you come to the point where, okay, well, I'm in college, I'm in public health, I love helping other people. Let's go. And I'm in college, and I'm thinking, I sing so much. I annoy all of my roommates, all of my friends. I'm like, I love people, and I love music, and I go to all these concerts and of all different genres and things like that. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm still getting this public health degree, and I'm working 3 serving jobs, because I was transitioning over to a more expensive restaurant downtown Cincinnati. And that's actually where my accident happened. And I was going into my senior year, first semester, had 2 semesters left to go. And I was leaving work, and I got hit by a car as a pedestrian in the crosswalk. And I don't exactly remember what happened when I was unconscious for 30 minutes. I don't know if there was a decision that I had to make. I think there probably was. I think I did have to make a decision for myself to want to live and to really promise this time to really go after it. And it's like the financials were still the same thing. I could have been going for it in college, but I wasn't letting my desire develop. I wasn't doing anything with the music except for enjoying it, other people doing it. And then after that accident, I immediately started doing music because I'm like, okay, this is my second chance at life. I shouldn't be here right now for various reasons. The unconscious for 30 minutes, the getting medical services delayed, having bruising, swelling, and bleeding on my brain, subdermal hematoma definitely could have killed me for so many different reasons. And I mean, my mom had to take me back to the hospital days later because my brain had swelled so much more after they released me. I was about to have a stroke. I was about to die again, just with my mom. And so during that time, we were really broken down. Like I said, I couldn't walk for a while. My brain was really bad, and I ended up taking a walker and a cane into church. And I went to this new mega church in Kentucky that my friend had invited me to. And that's really where I found God even further. And I started watching my mom, she would put MCT oil in my fruits and veggies and quinoa. I went back to old bad habits. After my accident, I wanted pizza and milkshakes and things like this. You go back to your bad habits after something like this happens to you. But she kept me in line, and she did a really great job of providing the right amount of love and the right amount of push. As a mom, as someone who's my partner in crime, as someone who was spiritually leading me through that time. And that's when my mom started diving deeper into The Secret and Bob Proctor and things that my mom had introduced me to when I was younger, when I was in high school, and things that my dad shut her down and said, this isn't real. You can't manifest your dreams. Just things like that. And so I started watching her. We were eating cleaner. We joined a eating society, a healthy eating society. She joined a spirituality society, the Bob Proctor program, Kathleen Cameron, The Secret, all of that. We just dove so deep into these things. And that's what I think a lot of people, they look at where we are right now and they don't realize it has taken 6 years to get to this point. It's making the decision and letting that develop. Yeah, the universe just confirmed that for me. I just heard a horn really loud. And that's the type of stuff that I'm on. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't just look right around me. I always am feeling into vibrations, what people are bringing to the table. Like if a car beeps when I say something, I will know if it's right or wrong. Like certain things like that, the way that animals speak to me, the way that people speak to me, the amounts of respect I get and things like that. And just growing through all of this, the past 3 years have been incredible. I know there's recording artists out there who don't even have, they're signed to a label. They don't even have one album out. I released my second album this year. We have been grinding. I have invested everything into myself, all of my finances from my accident, recovery money. I've invested everything. I've invested all of my time. I've had to let go of people who have really been holding me down. And actually, I'm at somebody's house right now in my hometown. And this is something that I truly believe the universe and God does bring you to certain situations that you need to heal from. I had so much trauma here, and I've been coming over here and recording. I actually recorded my second demo here 3 years ago. And I'm still coming over here and I'm still recovering, and I'm still looking at people from my high school and my past that hurt me very badly. And I actually have came to multiple epiphanies this week. I saw everyone at a gathering and I really came to the conclusion, okay, see, my mom doesn't even know this. I came to the conclusion, okay, I really am at this level that these people really are beneath me, like truly. Like, it's not that I'm above them, it's just we're not on the same vibration. And I really, that's why I'm like, you know, people, they will casually fall out of your life, and they might be out of your life and you might still be holding on to something, and that will eventually decrease if you keep moving forward. And so I just encourage to like not look backwards, you know, look forwards. And I really like the develop. I don't know what it's called when you like break down that word, whatever that's called. I really liked that exercise, even for me, like I'm thinking about it right now, and it's exactly what I need to have my mindset on. And that's why I feel like we all did positive words for those letters. And I feel like that's a really good sign for all of us. That's something I looked at. I like did the list and then I looked at it and I'm like, wow, I seem to be very optimistic about my future right now. This is a good sign. And even if you don't feel that way, it's like you can always start to step into that, the feet of the people, of the person that you want to become. And it's just, it takes a community. It really does. It takes people that are going to hold you accountable. A lot of people don't understand the power of attraction in your mind and how everything you think. And yes, we're all gonna accidentally sin, think bad about other people, think bad about ourselves every single day, but you can continue to move forward in a positive direction and just decrease that every single day and get to the point that you want to get at. I started, like, when I started my music career, what I was doing was posting covers. So I posted covers of R&B singers like Summer Walker, Chris Brown, Drake, things like that. I was doing covers. I did a cover of Amazing Grace, very first thing I ever did. And I put it on, actually, no, it was Oh Child of Mine. And I put it on Christmas Eve and I said, Mom, I'm starting, you know, I did a few singing lessons and I know this is what I want to do. I just know it. And the dresses and the outfits on stage and everything, I can picture all of it. I love the feeling of it. This is what I want to do. I want to help people. I want to heal people in the crowds, all of that. It's all, everything of my whole life. Talk to kids whose parents been divorced. Everything that's ever happened to me, I want to use that for good in my life right now. And I posted that video. And I mean, that was probably four and a half years ago, I would say, because that was before I started releasing original music. And somebody commented, the very first comment I ever had was, "You can't sing, give up." And so when you see something like that, that could make or break a person. And us as individuals, we need to have support teams and we need to be strong enough to see the truth in things. Lies will be told to you and you have to be able to see through them. Anytime anyone ever is rude to you, beeps their horn at you on the road, or leaves a mean comment or anything, whatever it is, gives you a dirty look in the grocery store, that's a problem that that person has with themselves. They have that with themselves. And that actually really helped me start my career off very well, seeing, okay, sometimes people, you know, they're going to be upset about something and you're going to have to learn to let that go. And that's, we've done speaking events, we've written a book, you know, we've had mean people leave comments on Amazon about our book, about traumatic brain injury, about getting hit by a car. So just give yourself grace and give other people grace too. When someone's mean to me, I never ever project hate back to them, because that's when they win and you lose your energy. You have to just send, I'm so sorry if you can hear dogs. There's like dogs inside. I'm trying to avoid. Okay. And there's like dogs over there. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of my story. My mom has played a key role. I still live with her. So we're actually moving on, getting out of that right now. And I really feel like this is definitely the time for that. I believe timing is real. I believe that, you know, if we do go through something, whether we brought that onto ourselves or not, I'm not God. I can't say for sure what the truth is. But I can say you can make something good out of that. You can. If I brought that accident, I was thinking negative things. If I brought that onto me, so be it. If I didn't, also so be it. Either way, I'm going to view it as something that I can positively bring to the table for other people. And just dream big. Dream as big as you can, because like you were saying, it's about LeBron going and winning how many championship rings. You know, for me, it's not just winning a Grammy. I think that's a good overview goal for me. But there's much, much, much more to what I'm looking to do in my career and start my own family and things like that too. So yeah, any questions, suggestions of what else I should say? Mother? Ryan?
Oh, well,
Pretty good.
Okay, good.
yeah. Okay.
Good.
Let me touch on a couple things. It's
Okay.
so, she lives in the present moment. She will notice things. She's so aware.
Already
She
want to say something.
and she's like, "Oh my God, look at this." And it's like, sometimes I'm not there. She'll see it and she'll be like, "Oh, we've had the craziest things happen to us."
Yeah.
I can't even, and I know this is my daughter, but I'm telling you, the things that have happened are crazy. And what was it that happened to you recently? Something not so good. This has been a couple months ago. She comes home and she
Okay.
goes, "Do you remember this?" You're like, I
Yep.
gotta do something good." And you're like,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go donate. Remember that?
That's a really good point. Let me touch on two things real quick. When something bad happens to me, I forget what it was. What was it? And it was like, you know, Dante's car got hit that one day in our parking lot.
Yeah.
And just the other day, I donate furniture and clothes. I constantly go through my stuff, and I mean, I don't have like a big room with a ton of stuff in it, but there's always something that you can give. You can donate your time, you can donate money, or you can donate actual physical things. So I don't know if it was somebody said something, somebody got in an accident, something, and I was in such a bad feeling that yes, I said, I'm going to go do something amazing for someone right now. And that's exactly what I did last week too, is I went and donated that. And then, hey, turns out yesterday, this photographer was able to take my picture for this single I have coming out for free. And so it's kind of like moving that momentum and moving that energy. If something good's happening to you or something bad, always, always, always try to give other people love. And then what was the other thing you said? Because I wanted to touch on that too. What did you say when you first started?
Oh, living in the present moment.
Living in the present moment. Oh man, see, I'm like Ryan. It's like it's gone. Or Adam, sorry. Yeah, maybe that one will come back to me, but yeah, living in the present moment, definitely.
And not to take things personally. That's
Yeah.
you. Look, one of her videos on Instagram, she has 3.2 million views. Like she's getting attention. Do you know how many comments? Like, I don't look at them, you guys. I don't look at them. Do you know how much hate there is out there? Do you know
Yeah.
how much that, oh, I mean,
Yep.
Hurt people,
but
hurt people.
yes.
Hurt
And
people,
at
hurt people.
first you look at it, because that first comment, when that somebody said something to you, I said, okay, good.
That was
good
my
because
mom's response.
whoops. But I was like, you need to see, you have to understand this. If you're going to put yourself out there, you want to be this singer,
Mhm.
you got to understand.
I know what I was gonna say. living in the present moment. So something else for me is like, I am an artist, and I also right now, I actually deliver food for a living. And one of the reasons why I do this, and it's not enough to live off of. Let me say that. Let me just start with that. But you guys, it's so much better for my mental health and for my spiritual body to be able to deliver food for people, because I'm picking it up and I'm delivering it, and I have that alone time to let go, because I definitely take on people's energy. Definitely. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I get negative sometimes on myself, and I let other people destroy my happiness sometimes too. And I always like, I just isolate myself. I'm like, go into my room and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm having a bad day. Like I need to be there for myself, because most of the time I am a very happy person. But making that decision to be a DoorDasher is, people might look at that in a crazy way. But for me, it's like right now I'm able to keep my mind where I want it to be. Because if I was in an office building for 10 hours a day, I would probably turn into a different person. Like I would have to be once an hour listening to happy music and making sure I keep my diet as clean as possible. Like there's a lot. It would be hard. It would be a challenge. And it's just living in that present moment and always trying to keep my vibration as high as possible. Like as high as possible. I try to stay elevated all the time. And you're going to come across people every day who are trying to aggravate you, trying to tear you down, trying to put you in you just gotta stay focused. You gotta stay focused on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. So, oh my gosh, what else did I wanted to say? I want to say that she looks fine, doesn't she? You never would guess that, that she has a brain injury. But there are a lot of other people out there too, okay, that look fine. We look fine. And I think most of us are carrying something. And that's why we do need to be more compassionate.
Mm.
But I'm just, I don't know, just really, really proud of you. And I know that you just have a heart of gold, and people are going to see that.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Paige. That was
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.
so.
Yeah.
I think with that being said, yeah, we all have something that we have to deal with, and I think the reality is there's always going to be people that don't. There's always going to be energy that doesn't want to coexist with change. So if we treat it as energy, we don't treat it as people, but we treat it as this is just kind of the energy, like you're saying. And then we're honest, like there's some days we're ticked off, or there's some days that we're struggling. There's some days that, so ask yourself, what exercising are you doing, like a DoorDash, or maybe you need help with entertaining an identity outside of just your normal. Maybe you don't have a DoorDash. Maybe you don't have a meditation. Maybe you don't, like Roberta has that meditation she's going to send out, that one she said. Like those are the things, and then consistently doing those types of activities to not separate yourself necessarily from the world, but to give yourself space to be able to be in the world and of the world, but not in that bad energy. So similar to me, I'm a therapist, so I have to deal with people's stuff all day long. And so, if I decide to dive into their stuff or decide a certain mode, then I become the victim of my own demise. So, or coaching, or whatever I do, or trying to solve somebody else's problems that doesn't want their problem solved, or it happens all the time in my office. So I think you're right. So you have to have that outside entity, and I think it's really cool that you're doing all the things you're doing. I can't wait to see what happens.
Mhm.
Get my daughter to teach you. She's a singer, songwriter, actress. She's 16. So she has celiac disease too. She's had a lot of issues, so it might be good to hook you guys up on a Zoom so she can get to know the real you. I think I'll take that on if you're open to that. So,
Yes.
So yeah, so we want to continue here for the next 10 or 15 minutes before we partake in this journey, before we break this journey up to talk about bearing gifts. Are we bearing gifts here? Are we bearing gifts? Is that what we're doing here, Roberta?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're gonna do that right now or in a little bit.
I think Maria wanted to say something.
A couple things, and I'm going to exercise my voice here.
Mhm.
Ryan, you are so interesting, and I like try to hold on to everything you're saying, but for some reason, when you sit back, your voice
You can't
from
hear me.
yeah,
You
it
can't hear me.
lowers.
You can't hear me.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's great. But a lot of, like you say, like I hold on to everything because you're so interesting. But something happens when you're back here that, and I checked.
Because my voice, because of the, it doesn't register as much. So I'm gonna plug my.
That's just feedback because you're interesting.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Go.
Paige, as your story, testimony, experience, I absolutely love, and I can relate to a lot of it. And I think one of the most attractive things is your authenticity and relatable, right? And I think we all have, most of us have invisible diseases. I don't know, invisible things going on, right? As I said the other day, I think we have more people in prison walking the streets, and I've been her and can be her than it's in the actual institutions. And as far as the DoorDash, I think that's fabulous because I tend to take on people's energy, and I'm considering going to work in a elementary school, which isn't a lot of money, but in my mind, how I could, and it's just a few hours a day, but how I could impact them little children's minds with just little seeds on their level,
Yes.
to me is like, that's rich.
Yeah.
The money's just a, a byproduct, but
Yeah. It's the children for me too. They played a huge role in my beginning of my recovery, and I'm a kid magnet too. I know you are too. I can tell. Like the kids are amazing.
and listen, I chose to not have children, and I still don't regret that. I chose to not have children because that's the only way I knew in my mind to not pass on chaos, right? And I've no judgment, no pointing fingers. Everybody's doing the best they can with what they have at the time, so it's not about that.
Sure.
But, it's been a big part of where my path has been as well. And I just think, man, I wish I would have had someone like me or you as that little girl, so you can like be there without getting involved, having healthy boundaries, but just because I'm just little, we're family reunions, wherever we are, the kids gravitate, and so I do think that's a gift of mine, but I always thought I was supposed to do it in small doses. I wasn't meant to be the 24/7.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm saying it loud. Awesome. No more silence. No more silence. Thank you for sharing that, Maria. All right. So are we bearing gifts?
We are bearing gifts. Okay, when I said too, she looks fine, Paige looks fine. She has, and so many of us do. And it came upon me when I was writing this book, because the book was going to be like invisible disability or invisible injury or something like that. But everybody kept saying, well, she looks fine. And I was like, it drove me crazy. It did. And I was like, that's it though. I was like, that's it. That's the name of the book. She looks fine. I know, Maria, you were checking this out too. I think
I've spent 2 hours trying to download it and finally had to this morning, and I didn't want to be not present here. So I was like, okay, that we're gonna have to put that to the side for now because I want to be present for this.
Yes. Well, you know what? I gotta tell you, so I want to give away my book, and I'm actually going to give 2 copies away if you guys will accept. Adam has been here the whole time, and I would love to send you a copy, Adam, I appreciate you so much for being so attentive, and thank you. And Maria, after messaging with you last night and everything too, I know you got the Kindle, I think, didn't you, of it? But I want to send you a copy too of the book so you can have. And
Listen, I will share that with my brother because he was hit by a motorcycle and has a TBI. So I understand to the outside world, he's good and he's wonderful. He's huge strides like Paige. It's,
wow.
so
Yes, and I hope maybe there will be some things in here too that he can use and that
And-
he didn't think of, or whatever. But yeah, you guys just send me your address so that I can send you a copy, okay?
A signed copy.
A signed. We will sign it for
Yes.
you.
Where would you like that the address is sent to? Is there like in the email or in the chat?
You can put it in the chat.
Chat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Chat.
No crazy stalkers in here to worry about, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Except me. Except me.
Yeah.
Oh, you already know where I live. You're part of the reason. You're part of the reason I'm here, bud. Come on.
All right. So with that being said, I would like to share. I don't have a copy of mine, but I have written 2 books, 2 poetry books, and the books are written poetically by during the cancer recovery of my wife and the Lyme and mono that almost killed me, and our financial bankruptcy, and our let's see what else. 6 years of getting my license in therapy. They're all poems. So what I want to do is I want to give Paige and I want to give Maria a copy of this book. It's called Illogicology, and it says "Expecting the Unexpected." It's a 6-chapter, 5 poems a piece with an introduction and a prologue and a conclusion with a story behind every chapter of the poems. So it will be I can go ahead and I can ship you guys a copy of that. You just put the addresses in the chat, and
Please.
I'll send that to you. So there you go.
Thank you.
You're
Is
welcome.
the puppy that's on the front, is that the cover?
Yeah, that's the cover, and this is the dog. The one on the left, right there, not the girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one on the cover. So yeah, so the idea is she's popping out of a box, like, oh, what's out there? What's going on? Where are we going? What are we doing?
That's my favorite type of dog. I love
that
it.
Golden Retriever. Yeah, we have 2 of those. So
Love it.
decided to pick her out, and they did that. And so yeah, so I'll shoot that to you guys. Yeah, thank you. And let's see.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. All right, awesome. All right, wow. All right, Roberta. let's
Yeah.
get- Close out here.
Wow. This has been really good. Gosh, I feel inspired spending time with you guys. I hope that you guys feel inspired too. And I hope that we've given you some keys, some tools for you to use, some things for you to do to move forward in finding that desire in your life and learning how to make a decision in the right place, and so that you can develop everything that you want in life. And I think, for me too, it's just, I feel like at an second stage of my life, I want people to know that just don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. It's never too late. Never. And, we all have a purpose. We need to find what that is. And we keep moving forward. And, so that we can live really true, a fulfilled life. And I want you to know, I mean, too, we've lost everything a couple of times. Yep. We didn't have a place to live. I mean, I could go on, but I mean, the happiest times of my life is when I had nothing, which is when you can do that and you can embrace just this and each other and grateful for, everything. It's so beautiful, but it's not wrong to want more. It's not wrong because that is our purpose. We all have a God-given right to live a beautiful life, and doing things the right way out of compassion and love. And you'll see that all of those things, will come back to you. And it's serving. We're here to serve. We're here to help. And we're here for you guys. And, during my last few years, I was like, I want to help others. I want to help people like me, people that have struggled with this, that didn't love themselves and never was able to move forward in their lives. And that is where I am being led. And so, I have programs and I have things that I never could have imagined that are all falling perfectly into place. So if you would like to discuss any of those things that I have, the programs that I have and the community that I have built, I would love to talk with you about it. Reach out and we will have a conversation and see what it fits your needs. And so I'm at a place now that I know I can help people. I know I can. And as I continue to grow and evolve, everyone else will too. And doing the things that I've done and having Paige, it's so close, you can tell. I mean, I guess we were supposed to go through these things, and the things that she has learned too. Now I swear she quotes my stuff. She's like, I'm like, yes, we're getting it. Yes, very good. So we both have evolved side by side. And so it's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
And so same goes for me. If I don't like a therapist, but I do program coaching, I do motivational coaching, I do distraction coaching, I do pattern interruption coaching, things of that nature. So if it's not you, it's somebody else. If there's men, I work with a lot of men. I work with a lot of youth. I work with a lot of men about creating emotional intelligence, healthy emotional intelligence, trying to help them create a higher self through emotional intelligence. I work with women too, don't get me wrong. But if you're looking to do that, advance that emotional intelligence, that identity, that image, that renewal, remove, renew, breakthrough, that's what I do. And so I'll also be having another event on October 5th and 6th with another individual who is a licensed therapist out of Michigan, who is also a coach. But yeah, just if you feel like you want to reach out, if you know somebody maybe that could benefit from talking to me, could be a guy, could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be a sibling, it could be anything. Hit me up. Hit me up. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me easy. And plus, I'm going to send you books. You guys are going to both get books. I'm going to share the book. Yeah, there you go. So it's been a pleasure.
So awesome.
Thank you guys for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you guys.
Stories.
Welcome. We'll put this on the recording. We'll put the recording out there again, and we'll go from there.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Ryan.
Paige.
I'm grateful for the 5 people I'm surrounded with today.
Awesome.
Me
awesome.
too.
Awesome. Awesome. Have a lovely weekend, guys.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Welcome.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to reading that book.
Yes.
Yes.
Leave a review on Amazon.
Will do.
Send me the address. Send me the address.
I will. Yeah.
Those reviews are amazing. I was reading them.
Yeah. Aw.
Amazing.
Good.
That's why I was trying to get the ebook now.
She wanted to read it right away. That's
Right.
awesome. All right. See you guys. Have a good weekend.
Yes.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Everybody take care.
Nice meeting everybody.
Bye.